Hey guys, this is Digital Tech RTV, and this is the review of the Canon EOS 550D or T2i or KISS X4. So this is a entry-level DSLR. It's a really great DSLR actually, considering it's one of the cheapest in price and supposedly built quality, but actually think it's a really great entry-level DSLR. Well, let me just show you a tour of the camera. So here is the front of the camera. The this is the manual focus ring. This is the zoom in and zoom out ring. This is the stabilizer on and off switch, and autofocus and manual focus. Then you've got the side where you got the flash button, the lens release button, and all the way at the bottom here is a this sort of display setting button, I think. Here is a metal ring, and also on the other side for the strap. Then you got some options here. On the top you got the pop-out flash, the hot shoe, but the hot shoe doesn't have any cover, so it's kind of sad. It could get dirty, but oh well. So here's a shutter button, a dial to adjust the aperture and shutter speed. This is the ISO button. This is the on and off switch. This is the mode dial. So you got different modes. I think this is a depth. This is manual exposure. This is aperture priority. This is shutter priority and program AE. I think, yeah, this is creative auto. This is auto shoot, where you could just take simple pictures and all. This is auto shooting with flash off. This is portrait. This is landscape. This is macro or close up. This is sports mode, where you do continuous shooting. This is kind of like a spotlight theme. I forgot the name. And this is live view mode. Let's just turn into the basic auto mode, where auto mode is where they make it for people that just want to take simple pictures and don't want to go through all that complicated stuff. So here's the menu button, the display button, the viewfinder, the dial for to adjust the viewfinder of the focus. It's the record button. This is some exposure and aperture buttons. I'm not exactly sure. Also, you can zoom in and zoom out on the pictures. You could do thumbnail or like all this stuff. Here's the aperture button. This is a button actually where you just press it and you could just easily manually adjust all the things like the white, and I'll get to these words later, but like instead of using the scroll and having to hold this button to change the aperture or do ISO and all this stuff, you could just press this easily and just adjust it. But using the dial and all the top buttons and all is for people that want to quickly change it and then they shoot. But these are for people who just want to set it up. Then you got the menu buttons. This is the set or OK button. This is the white balance button, the autofocus, the shutter speed or self timer, and there's the beeping picture. There's picture style. This is the playback button. This is the recycling bin button. Then you got the standard SD card slot. Supports HSD. I forgot all the other ones, sorry. Then you've got a tripod socket and battery compartment, which you can remove and put an extra battery grip, considering this is a light body. So that's pretty much the tour of the camera. Now let me tell you the specs of it. So this is a really great DSLR, considering cheap price, cheap body, cheap materials, as people say, but I personally think it's one of the best, though it's not one of the best. I think it is, because considering it's a not exactly professional camera, it has 18 megapixels, which is a CMOS sensor, which is pretty great. and records full HD 1080p video recording at 24 frames per second, 25 frames per second, and 30 frames per second, which is great. Also records 720p HD and 480p ED video recording at 50 frames per second and 60 frames per second, which is also same as the T2i, but they just have some little difference, like the very angle screen. This also has, I'm really happy with this because it has a 3.5 millimeter external mic option. Also, for the remote, this is for the AV and USB connection, and it supports HDMI, but you have to buy the HDMI cable separately, so that's kind of sad. Anyways, it has a Digic 4 image processor, which most Canon DSLRs have, like the T2i, the 60D, some other Ds and whatever. Sorry. And also has a 3-inch LCD monitor. And while I'm talking about the monitor, oh, it's kind of dirty. LCD monitor. You see this little 2 black strips here? It's a built-in sensor, so it blacks out the screen when you put your eye to the viewfinder, so it kind of doesn't like annoy you when you're taking pictures, and I guess it kind of saves energy. I'm not sure. Doesn't really. I don't think so, but well, yeah. So it's kind of annoying, like for some other cameras where you take pictures, but there's light coming from here. So yeah, it's kind of irritating. But here it has a sensor, blacks out the screen. And the only thing you can focus is in the viewfinder. And since I'm talking about the viewfinder, there are 9 autofocus points. So when you look through it, you'll see 9 tiny dots. Those are the autofocus points. Also has an EOS integrated cleaning system, which means the sensor, it could clean the sensor itself, which is pretty great. It's a really smart camera in a basic cheap DSLR body. Also has an ISO from 100 and 6400, expandable to ISO 12,800, which is pretty good. But if you look more into the details, by the time it's at 12,800, the details are a bit ugly, but still, it's still great. And in sports mode, if you're like a sports addict and want to capture like LeBron James doing that dunk or something, and capture all those moves he does and see what he can do or whatever, all those famous sports players, this has 3.7 frames per second, not as much as the 7D, like 8 frames per second, or the 1DX or 12 frames per second. This is good DSLR body, considering, like I said before, cheap body, simple price, even though it's discontinued. This still has 3.7 frames per second, which is still a lot. So yeah. And yeah, this body is actually really durable because Digital Rev, they did a review the durability test of the 400D. They said the 550D, but it's not. They did the 400D and also the D70, but when the 400D got burned, got dropped, and all that stuff got scratched so badly, but still works. Everything still works, even the splashing Earl Grey tea. But yeah, if that survived, this can survive a lot of things. Doesn't need the magnesium alloy bodies or anything expensive. So this is a really great body. That's all I have to say. So yeah, this is one heck of a good DSLR. Though this camera is quite a cheap body and is discontinued, I still think over a few days of using it, I still feel that this camera is one of the best. May not be like the 1DX, but still a great camera. So this camera is ideal for those who want a light body that is cheap in price, but is durable to anything and creates great video and picture results. So Please like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and favorite this. And this has been a video by Digital Tech RTV. See you guys next time.